Alright guys, in today's video I'm going to be reviewing the Neca Ultimate Ghostface figure. I have been waiting for this figure for a very long time. Like, a really long time. I don't even remember when this was first announced, but ever since it was announced, I've been waiting for this to come out. And as soon as the pre-order was available, I pre-ordered, and I've been waiting for this guy for months. The pre-orders were supposed to ship last month, but were late, and I got tired of waiting for the pre-order, so I went and I searched around, and I found one available on this one website that sells horror merch, and literally the day after I ordered it from that website, my pre-order shipped. Luckily, I wanted to get more than one of these guys, because he comes with 4 heads, and I wanted one for each head. So I didn't cancel my order, and this is actually the pre-order. The pre-order arrived before the other one. The other one hasn't arrived yet. It should be here in the next couple days. Anyways, let's take a look at this guy. I guess I'll start off with the accessories. First things first with this guy, he's not based off of the Scream movies. Ghostface is trademarketed and owned by a costume company called Fun World. So this is a Ghostface figure, but not a Scream figure. I know that's a little confusing, but that's just how it works with this guy. He comes with 3 different knives. I'll get this one out of his hand. God damn it, it's stuck. Come on now. Okay, that's stuck. Alright, so I finally got it out of his hand after a little bit of fidgeting. Gotta be careful with these figures, because NECA figures are very fragile, which is something NECA needs to work on. But so far NECA has been working on it, they've just been ignoring it. Anyways, comes with 3 different knives. We have a Bowie knife with a wood handle. And this one here, which is the closest we get to the buck knife, it's missing some paint, but you could take a silver Sharpie and paint in the details missing for the buck knife. I'll take a closer look at that in a minute. And then we get a kitchen knife. I wish we could have got a clean knife. All the knives he comes with are bloody. It would have been nice to get just like one clean knife. This blade here is the closest we get to something from the movie. Get the camera to focus. The blade isn't totally accurate. The clip point is too deep. But the handle is close to the Buck 120. It's just missing some paint detail, but you could probably paint that detail in. At the guard, there are 3 stripes. Leave the recessed stripe black and paint the other 2 silver. And then there, at the butt of the handle, trying to get it to focus. I don't know if you'd call that end piece of pommel, but paint that silver. And the recessed stripes, leave those black and paint that stripe sticking up silver, and that'll look more accurate to the movie. Which is something I might do with this guy, with this knife, because I am getting multiples of this figure, so I might paint some of these handles to look more accurate, because it's got a detail sculpted in, it's just not completely painted. And I might even completely repaint one and have a clean one. Kitchen knife is something we've seen with other figures. It wouldn't surprise me if this is reused from another figure. And I think this is something new. Maybe. It's similar to a knife we got with the Part 5 Roy, but it's not the same knife, but similar to it. We get the voice changer. Is pretty much the same as the one that comes with the retro, but just a little bit smaller to fit in this scale. Another complaint I have is I wish we could have got a cell phone. I don't know why we're not getting the cell phone now. The old retro figure, which had Scream marketing on it, came with a cell phone, but the new retro and the Ultimate just come with the voice changer. And even the Sideshow Ghostface coming out doesn't have a cell phone. So I guess there's some kind of marketing issue to where if it's just marketed as Ghostface through Fun World, you can't have a cell phone. But if you have Scream on it, it can come with a cell phone. I don't understand, but that's just the way it is. Now, this is something we never see in any of the movies, but it's actually really cool that we get it, and that's a scythe. I know a lot of people are complaining, why does it come with a scythe? Like I said earlier, this isn't a screen figure, so Foam can have more creative liberties with it. And the Ghostface costume is called Father Death in the movie, so the costume is a Grim Reaper costume, so it coming with a scythe actually makes a lot of sense. One thing I thought was kind of funny, I have a custom 6-scale Ghostface figure that I made that I have, that's the zombie Ghostface. I'll show it off in a future video. Anyways, my zombie 6-scale custom figure, I gave a scythe. And then a couple months later, Neca releases the prototype images for this figure. And when they showed the zombie head, they had it displayed with the scythe. So I thought that was pretty cool. And we have the classic mask. We have the zombie mask. I'm going to do a comparison between this and the Scream 4 zombie figure. We get a bloody mask, which I think is really neat. Mine's got a little smudge on the forehead. I just noticed that. Uh-oh. And we get a glow-in-the-dark green mask. I've heard some people complain that theirs doesn't glow or very well or doesn't glow at all, but mine glows really, really well. I just tested it out a minute ago. And he comes with alternate hands. He's got different gripping hands. That one is for the voice changer. He comes with another gripping hand for the left hand for a knife or the scythe. And he has 2 different right hand gripping hands because the handles of the knives are different. So there's all of accessories. Now I'm going to take the robe off of this guy and then show you all the body underneath and all of his articulation. Alright, so this is what he looks like without the robe on. His legs and arms are fully sculpted, but the rest of the body is just not fully sculpted. This would be a great base figure for customs. Like you could easily make a collector out of this guy because it's got the legs and the arms already sculpted. The arms have the cuffs of the robe sculpted in, but the rest of the arms would work for like a collector or something. Just sculpt the torso and give him a new head. He has a single ball joint for the head, not a double ball joint. I think this is called a pin and socket shoulder, the joint that we get on pretty much every figure. Double joint at the elbow, and then I think that's called a pin and socket hinge at the wrist. And you can easily pull those off. And you can easily pop the head off. It's an actual ball, not the little peg that we get on most figures these days. So it's a little bit different than what we usually get. And we got a ball joint at the hips. And we don't have double jointed knees. The legs are actually, I believe, a reuse of the old figure. I'll bring him in just a minute. And my feet are really stiff. Don't want to mess around with the feet too much, but I believe it's a ball joint or something there at the feet. If we bring in the old figure, I'm almost positive. Yeah, it's just a reuse of the legs from the old figure. So the legs are the exact same, just a different color. The old ones have a dark navy blue color, which these ones are just straight up black. And the boots are a little bit different. And the arms are a retool of the original arms. They just added a joint, a double joint to the elbows. So I'm gonna put his robe back on, and I don't know. This figure is far from being perfect. It's really good, but not perfect. But there's a couple complaints I've been seeing that I don't really think are fair. One of the biggest ones I've been seeing is people bitching about the mask. There are so many people complaining that Neca didn't sculpt a Fantastic Faces, which I think is really dumb. If you're not a hardcore Scream collector, nobody knows what the hell a Fantastic Faces is, okay? most people don't know what that is, and they think you're crazy when they see you talking about a Fantastic Faces. For people who don't know, the Ghostface mask was a Halloween mask before the movie was made. People call them Fantastic Faces because the tags on the mask said Fantastic Faces. And the masks in each movie vary a little bit. The sculpts are just a little bit different. And I've been seeing so many Scream fans bitching that they didn't sculpt a Fantastic, which like I said, I think is dumb because nobody knows what that is. I think the sculpt looks great, and I think Neca went the best route when it comes to this sculpt by combining the different looks into one mask. Because if you look at all the different masks, they vary quite a bit, and I see elements of all of the masks in this sculpt. And like I said, I think that was the best route for them to go, because just sculpting a specific mask like the Fantastic just doesn't make any sense, because this isn't a movie-specific Ghostface, it's just Ghostface. But still, people are still complaining about that, and I just think it's really dumb. Like I said, nobody knows what the fuck a Fantastic is. Another thing people keep complaining about is that the robe is an actual robe instead of sculpted on, which I also think is dumb, because if we're going to get a sculpted robe, we're going to get something like this that's basically a statue. Doesn't want to stand up, god damn it. We'll lean him back, okay. If you have the robe sculpted on, from the waist down, or even the whole body is not going to move at all. It's just going to be a brick with posable arms and neck, just like the re-release of this guy. You know, the re-release of this guy had articulation in legs, but this robe part was rubber, and you couldn't pose it at all, so it was just a brick. So I think giving us a fully fabric robe was the best route to go, so that way you could actually pose this guy instead of having a brick with arms and a head. If I bring in, if I don't drop him, goddammit, the Pinhead was able to pull this off, but that's because of the way his costume is. He's not wearing a full robe. He wears a skirt with whatever the hell this little corset thing he is. So it was able to work for Pinhead, but we saw how well it worked for Ghostface. And going back to the head sculpt, we can all agree that this head sculpt is much better than this. This was just... what the hell? It's like they sculpted the K&B mask and gave it the mouth of a regular Ghostface mask, and it doesn't look good at all. The K&B mask was a mask made by K&B Effects that, before they got the rights to use the Foam World mask, that still makes brief appearances in the first Scream movie. See, I'm having to explain this stuff because not everybody knows about the different masks, which is something the Scream community, or at least the Scream mask collecting community, can't... It's like they're not self-aware. They don't realize not everybody knows this shit. And then they shame people for not knowing this stuff, which is curious compared to the new retro Ghostface figure. The mask sculpts are totally different. I like this mask sculpt better. I like the robe on this guy better, specifically the hood. It has a much bigger hood, which I think looks better and more accurate to the movie. This one has a wire here in the back, but that doesn't really do shit. Whereas this one has a wire in the back so you can pose the point. You know, this one has a little bit of a point, but not much. But also has a wire in the frame of the hood, which this one doesn't have. But the hood on this one is so small that it doesn't make sense to have it, whereas this one has a really big hood. And I think the robe on this one is just overall more movie accurate because of the hood. The hood on this one, the Ultimate, is more like the hood we get on the costumes. And the robe on this one is also really short. It goes up the legs, whereas this one's more movie accurate. So if you're looking for a figure to represent the movie, I'd actually recommend the retro more than I do the Ultimate. The Ultimate is in scale with the other horror figures, but if you don't care about that one, if you don't care about the scale matching up with the other figures, then I'd say get the retro, because I think it's a better representation of the movie, if that's what you're looking for. Here he is with the bloody head on. I should also add the fabric that this robe is made of is very stretchy, which is a good thing. So there he is with the bloody mask on. Get a better look at that. Mine has a smudge on the forehead. I don't know what I can do about that, but I'll figure something out. And here he is with the glow-in-the-dark green mask on. And here's the glow-in-the-dark mask, glowing in the dark. If you've ever tried to film or take pictures of stuff glowing in the dark, you realize that it's actually really hard to do that. For whatever reason, it usually doesn't show up well on camera, but this shows up really well on camera. So I got a good copy when it comes to the glow-in-the-dark mask, because like I said, I've heard other people complain about it not glowing very well, so I'm grateful that I got one that glows well and looks awesome. Zombie head on compared to the original zombie Ghostface, and I like the sculpt better on the new one, but I think the original has slightly better paint. There's a little bit more detail on the original. It's washed out on camera. There's more color on this guy, whereas this guy is just one color, dry brushed over black, whereas this one has some brown tones in it. And here he is compared to some other classic horror icons. So you can see how well they scale up. And they're all on the same scale. What else am I supposed to say?